Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and greetings from a beautiful day in Charleston, South Carolina. Charleston's absolutely one of the greatest places to live, beautiful city, beautiful weather. I've been very blessed to have been here for 2 years now as Director of Athletics, almost 2 years. And my background has been in a variety of sports. I've worked in professional baseball with the New York Mets and Washington Nationals. I worked in collegiate fundraising with East Carolina, also Furman University. I was also the director of the Gamecock Club at Carolina for 10 years. And then I went to Liberty University in 2006 and served as AD there from '06 to the beginning of 17. So I come into this job with a lot of experience. I guess it means I'm really old, but I've got a lot of experience in athletics, and I feel truly, truly honored and blessed to be the athletic director here at a Christian university that's participating in involved in Division I athletics. So there are about 350 schools in the country that are Division I. About 250 of those play Division I football, and we are very, very blessed to be one of those schools. And God is doing great things with our program. We are growing, and God is bringing great people with high Division I experience to our department. You know, I really believe that athletics is not the most important thing at all at Charleston Southern, but it is the most visible. And what that means is athletics is such a big part of the world, the community, that it plays a big, big role in building schools. And I take my job very seriously in that athletics here are very important to help build the school. When you're building a Christian university, helping to be a part of a Christian university, you know, it's a high, high honor and blessing to be in this role. So I just look at my job now as a builder. We're building a program here. We're very excited about what God's doing here and the leadership of Dr. Costin and his commitment as an AD. You always are hoping and praying that you have a president that understands the importance of athletics and will support it. And we are very, very blessed to have Dr. Costin here who is supporting all of our efforts. Obviously, it's a very tough time right now with COVID-19, and there's a lot of things up in the air. There are a lot of moving parts. There are a lot of future happenings that we don't know what's going to go on, but we're just taking it day by day, and we are trusting God, and we are trusting God to lead us and give us wisdom and patience as we go through the next coming months and maybe year, whatever it's going to take. So we're trusting God for that. But our athletic program has 14 sports. We do play Division I football, and there are 2 levels of Division I football. We're in the lower level of Division I. We provide 63 athletic scholarships. The higher level of the University of Georgia's and South Carolina's and Clemson's and Florida's that do have 85 scholarships. And I want to mention Mississippi State too, in case somebody out there might be interested in that. But we do play Division I football. We're very blessed to have a new head coach here named Autry Denson. He's been here for 1 year, was the running back coach at Notre Dame, and God led him here. I just say that because he has had such a positive impact on our campus and on our football program and also the community. And again, athletics is not by far the most important thing about Charleston Southern, but we take it very seriously, and we're here to compete at a very high level. And I want to say this too. The most important thing that we can do as an athletic program with our student athletes, and we again have about 340, is to make sure that their health and wellness and safety is given top attention, and we do that here. Secondly, we are tremendously convinced that we're here to help speak into the spiritual lives, and we do hire Christian coaches that do believe the word like this university does. And they speak into the lives of our kids every day, and it's a big, big part. It doesn't mean we don't want to win. We want to win as much as anyone, and we hate to lose as much as anyone. But we are here to glorify God and to bring honor and glory to Him through competing. We believe that we can do that through a successful program, successful on the fields and on the courts, successful in the classrooms, also successful in their social life, but most importantly, that we can be successful and help our student athletes spiritually. So, it's okay for good guys to win. It's okay for Christians to win. And we're here to build a school and to build an athletic program at a Division I level that will honor Christ in everything that we do.
One thing, Jeff, would you kind of go into a bit more detail about the maybe some of like the academic supports that we have at CSU? I know that Betty Palmer and her team are absolutely incredible, and just kind of some of those that side of being the student athlete.
Sure. We're actually very blessed. We have 3 full-time academic staff members. Betty Palmer was the women's golf coach at Alabama for 17 years. and she's been here for about 5 now and does a wonderful job leading our program. We have 2 other academic coordinators, and they are highly involved in the lives of our student athletes. We have study hall, we have individual tutor times. We are very, very committed to that part, and I think we do a really, really good job of providing all of our student athletes with the chance to succeed in the classroom.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. I know that we, with you and Coach Denson joining us, the past couple of years, we've built on a lot of our traditions and come up with new ones as well. So talk a bit more. One thing that I always share with students is that we're a Division I program, and all of our students actually receive free admission to our athletic events. So they don't have to wait in line for football tickets or purchase those or anything like that. They're broke college kids too. So just talk about kind of the traditions and the culture, and how maybe a non-student athlete can be involved and be a part of the athletic program too.
Sure. You bring up a great point. All of our sports are free to the students. They just have to show their ID so they can get in. And what we're doing here is we're working to emulate our program to be like a Power 5 program. Whether it's, again, South Carolina, Clemson, Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, whatever school, we are emulating those schools in the way we do things. And I'm a firm believer in little things add up to make something really special. And about a year ago in our senior staff meetings, we started listing little things, not that we want to do, but things that we've already done to grow and to have traditions. And I'll speak to some of that here in a moment. But if you were in my office with me now, I could show you on our whiteboard that we have completed 287 little things. And these are little things that we've done to create traditions like wearing blue. So for home games, away games, we have a hashtag that Bucks Wear Blue. We have 287 little things that we've done to build this program, whether it's 88 palm trees around the stadium, whether it's a new website, we have a new logo. It's a lot of different things. But they're all traditions that we're starting to put into place. We have Blue Fridays. So every Friday before a home football game, we will have ask everyone to wear blue. And it's gone really well. It takes time to get the campus to 100% wearing blue maybe, but we're well on our way. And even the first year, we felt like we had about 30, 40% of the campus and students wearing blue on Fridays. We do select Blue Fridays on some other games during the year, maybe basketball or two. We'll do some games or whatever. But again, we're trying to, whether it's tailgating, whether it's reserved parking spots for basketball and all, we are trying to put in as many traditions as we can so that our students can learn what CSU is all about. And we're looking forward to one day them coming back with their children and even their grandchildren and even seeing them even more than they do now.
That's awesome. The only other thing that I can think of, and then Sean and Jaden, if you guys want to pipe in and ask some questions, please do. I have a feeling that Sean wants to know this. Can you talk about the recruitment process? A student who's a junior or senior in high school, what are their steps to take if they want to play D1 sports at CSU?
Sure. It's a really good question, and it's one that I get quite often. And I would put it this way: if you're being recruited by right now, if your son, daughter is being recruited right now, that's one category, and there's another one if they're not. And most of the time when I've talked to parents, their kids are not being recruited, I encourage them to do a couple of things. Number one, first of all, obviously keep the grades up, because our coaches are going to look at the transcripts and make sure you have the grades. So if you don't have the grades, you don't have a chance either as a scholarship or as a walk-on player. We do have walk-on tryouts. All of our teams will offer a walk-on tryout during the fall or before their season starts. And so that is one thing that you can do as a potential student athlete, is get prepared and work out on your own and do everything you can to be as good as you can be, so that when you get here, you can go meet with the coach, find out when that walk-on tryout is, and then go out. And we do have a good number of walk-ons on our program. The other thing to do that I think is really good advice, and it's something that's proved helpful to a lot of young men and women, is to come to the camps that the coaches have. So a lot of times coaches will use camps, and they do this at all levels. They'll use camps as a recruiting tool. So if your son wants to play football, if your son wants to play basketball, if your daughter wants to play basketball or softball or tennis or whatever it is, then if you can come to the coach's camp between your junior and senior year or sophomore, junior year, then those coaches are going to get to see you and see who you are as a person, see who you are as an athlete, and as a potential athlete to recruit to come play. So it's a really tough thing for our coaches. There are thousands and thousands of high school athletes, and they cannot get to all of them. And there are a lot of kids that are overlooked every year. So again, coming to the camps is a big step, probably the best thing for them to do. And number two would be, once you get enrolled in school and you get here, contact the coach and then start the process of a walk-on at that point.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And Jaden's mom, Mrs. Brower, was asking, exactly that, like what he needed to do to get recruited. So just to add on to what Jeff was saying for you guys is that, so I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, but I'm Amanda Johnson. I am one of our assistant directors of undergraduate admissions, but I'm also the athletic liaison for the admissions office. So I'll make sure to put my email in the chat there. And so if you have links to huddle film or stats or anything that you want to send me that I can send the way of athletics, I am happy to help you guys do that and do my part in sending that over to try to get that in front of them. And I also do know that it does help if your student's coach now vouches for that student through the recruiting process. Sometimes it's a bit harder to be the student and get in front of a coach. So if the student's coach now can vouch for that student and maybe try to contact our coaches, that would be a great thing as well. In admissions, we cannot set up the athletic meeting for you. Your student does have to get that on their own and be recruited on their own. But we certainly in admissions, if you set up an admissions meeting, we can certainly drive you by facilities, tell you everything that we know to the best of our ability. But of course, if you can tack on an athletics visit at the same time, we work really well together and try to put together a fluid day for you if you are being recruited. And you're as a prospective student athlete, know that if your student is offered an athletic scholarship from CSU, those scholarships do stack on top of their merit scholarship. So just like he was saying, those grades are super, super important, and you'll get both athletic and academic here at CSU.
Yeah, very good point, Amanda. Thank you for saying that. If you're interested in being recruited, if your son or daughter is, it's fine to go ahead and contact the coach now. And as Amanda mentioned, send film, huddle, or whatever, and have the coach involved. And you can go ahead and send in your information now and kind of start the process. That's totally okay.
Mm-hmm. Jaden's mom also asked what sports cheerleaders are expected to be at. I know football, basketball. So our cheerleading squad, if anyone's interested in that, our cheerleading and dance teams are not yet competitive. I know that they are currently working to be competitive. They're more, so they're not part of the NCAA. They are spirit squads here at CSU, but they do have tryouts, and they go to many different events, campus events, as well as game days for multiple sports. So we do have cheer and dance programs as well.
Yeah, we do. We have about 20 cheerleaders, and so they do cheer, football and basketball, men and women's basketball, as you said, but we are trying to be very community-oriented and get them out in the community and doing other community projects and projects for the school as well while they're here. So they're a big, big part of our program, and we love our cheerleaders.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Are there any other questions that you guys can think of?
I have a question. I don't know where the chat box is. This is my first Zoom call. This is Ms. Shawn. What is the admissions requirements in reference to GPA, test scores? Can you speak in reference to that, just in general for the students, and then if you want to expand on it in reference to student athletes?
Sure. So you do have to be admitted to Charleston Southern in order to be a student athlete here. So the minimum GPA required is a 2.0 to 2.5, depending on coursework. Our average student comes in with a 4.1 weighted GPA. So we do take their highest, which is always great news for students. And then we do accept the ACT and or SAT. So we don't prefer one over the other, but for the ACT, it's a minimum of a 19 in all areas. And then the SAT, it's a 530 in the evidence-based reading and writing and a 490 in the math. So that's the minimum regular acceptance requirements. We do have a bridge program that we offer as well that is in-house on our campus. And so if your student, if their scores or GPA are close to those minimum requirements, please definitely encourage them to send those things over anyway, because we do look at those students on a case-by-case basis. And so even being admitted to the bridge program does not deter you from being able to be a student athlete. So you have to meet those admissions requirements for CSU, and then of course, the NCAA eligibility will kick in, and that's what all the academic advisors and things that we have here for student athletes, they ensure that they are still on their degree path and meeting those NCAA requirements as well.
And for a student athlete, it's really the same as a CSU student. So we follow the same guidelines and measurements that the university does, and by doing that, they'll be NCAA compliant.
I have another question. I know with the impact of what's going on right now, you all are not offering on-site visits, but is there something taking place during the summer outside of the camps for people who are that live in another state that may be potentially coming to, try to visit the campus?
So I can definitely answer
during
that.
The summer.
I can answer that from the admissions standpoint. And as far as camps, Jeff, I'll let you maybe fill her in on that. But we are hopeful that we'll be able to resume campus visits around mid-May. Right now, of course, with this ever-evolving situation that we're in, that's still just the hope. We are just as ready to have students on campus as anyone else. But we do offer campus tours during the week. So I can definitely get the enrollment counselor to contact you guys, or just shoot me an email. I put my email is ajohnson@csuniv.edu. I was going to tell you to look at the chat box, but I don't want you to have to find it. So, but that's my email. You can definitely send me an email, and we'll let you know kind of when we're having those on-campus visits again. We, of course, do them all year long. So the hope right now is mid-May, but that definitely could change.
From an athletic standpoint, Ms. Ellis, the NCAA voted last night to extend the period. They call it a dead period, which means coaches are not allowed to recruit and have camps and all that until May the 31st. So it was April 15th. They've now extended the dead period to May the 31st. So as Amanda said, we're just kind of sitting and waiting. We don't know yet if we'll be able to do our camps. In athletics, there's kind of a multi-level of responsibility to the school and what the school is and what they're doing, number one, but also 1B, I guess, would be to the NCAA. So, we are hoping to hold camps in June and July like we normally do, but we just don't know yet if that'll be possible. But we will let people know as soon as we can possibly do that.
If, for example, if my son attended, he would be coming from out of state. Is there something that you all do to try to embrace the students that are not from the South Carolina area, or to help them acclimate to transitioning out of state to as well as to college, like incoming freshmen?
Absolutely. So we actually have a good portion of our students do come from out of state. We have many from Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, even the Northeast is one of our larger areas for students coming from. We get tons of women's soccer players from the Northeast, so they all kind of come from all over, and it's wonderful. But we definitely do. So we do have actually some scholarship impacts that out-of-state students get. So since we're a private institution, out-of-state students automatically get a $2,000 out-of-state grant, just to kind of help offset some of that cost. But then as far as getting them acclimated and getting them used to the school, student athletes, so if your son decides football, I know for certain that those students are here early, of course, before the fall to start practicing and getting acclimated with that team. If correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff, but I believe Coach Stinson still does not allow freshmen football players to have their cars on campus in order to really, embrace the team and get that bond going. So there are a lot of ways that coaches will do that. There's a lot of ways the enrollment team will do that, and student activities as far as move-in day and the first week of classes. They're basically drinking from a water hose with all of the opportunities that are here at CSU. And so definitely think it's important to do those campus visits beforehand so that they can get acclimated to the university and meet different professors and things like that. But of course, once they get here, it's a full embrace. That's for sure.
Yeah, I would close in saying that I mentioned early on, very blessed to be here. It's a special campus. It's a special group of faculty and staff, and of course, with Jesus at the center of it all. Ms. Ellis, just, for people wanting to feel welcome, there's no difference if you're from Georgia or South Carolina or Timbuktu. It doesn't matter where you're from. Everybody really reaches out. It's a very loving community, very family-oriented community. I know our department's very family-oriented, and so is the university. And, again, I've been here almost 2 years now, and I just know that everybody coming in from all over the country or world, I've never heard a complaint about not feeling welcomed in, just like they were from South Carolina or Charleston or whatever. So it's a very, very loving community, but a group of very, very special people that treat everybody like family. So it's a really, really neat place to be.
Well, thank you all so much. It was great to meet you, Miss Ellis, and good luck to your son. And please let us know if you guys need anything. Thanks, Jeff, for coming on and giving us all that information. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.